and able for our hymn from the Gray Hymnal, number 360, Here We Have Gathered. We bid you welcome. In this community of radical inclusion, we make space for what you believe and what you love. Your whole self is welcome here. In this community of open-hearted inclusion for all people, we do not expect that you think a certain way or restrict yourself to one set of beliefs. We only ask that you try to live a kindly, helpful life with the dignity proper to a human being. Welcome all who believe that religion is wider than any sect and deeper than any set of opinions. Welcome all who might find in our friendship strength and encouragement for daily living. We are so grateful that you are here. My name is Nathan Whitehead. My pronouns are he and him, and I'm so glad to be your service leader today. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us, whether you're here in person or joining us online. Hi. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any visitors who may be with us today. Hello to you as well. Any visitors and everybody, just feel free to join us downstairs in the reception hall for coffee and conversation after the service here today. But then also please remind you to silence your cell phones too, but feel free to use those cell phones to share your presence on social media. We have a couple announcements today. The UUCF annual picnic is on Sunday, September 8th after the church service. Drinks, hot dogs, and corn will be provided along with all of your delicious potluck dishes. The picnic will be held at a new location though this year. We're going to meet at Rotary Park in Novi. Coming up this Friday is Reverend Karen's community office hours from 9 to 11 at the Blue Hat Coffee Shop downtown Farmington, and all are welcome there. This evening, Save the World is meeting, and we're learning to text this week. We will learn to use the app and the script that Equality Michigan uses to get out the vote. You will not need to use your own personal phone or phone number. Just bring your laptop to the meeting tonight at 7 o'clock downstairs in the reception hall. And it's a great and easy way to encourage voters, and it's a step towards us being a good trouble congregation. And we've got a quick preview of of the service next week. It's pretty cool.
Fall is a season of beginning.
Join us on August 25th at the Daytimers service to honor the new beginning that fall brings.
We're also going to bless the backpacks for children going to school.
If you had trouble hearing that, the Daytimers are going to be giving a service next week and sharing their wisdom and what they've learned with us, and very excited for that. For more video content, check out our social media on Facebook or on Instagram at UU Farmington. And also check out our website and emails for additional announcements. And our words for our chalice lighting this morning come from Judith Quarles. At this hour, in small towns and big cities, in single rooms and ornate sanctuaries, many of our sibling Unitarian Universalist congregations are also lighting a flaming chalice. As we light our chalice today, let us remember that we are part of a great community of faith. May this dancing flame inspire us to fill our lives with the Unitarian Universalist ideals of love, justice, and truth. Now, please join me in reciting our UUCF mission statement from the order of service there. We seek answers everywhere, include everyone, and live with compassion. And let's welcome our religious education coordinator, Corey Cortez. She's going to lead us in our message for all ages this morning, and then after which we're going to sing the kids out of here on their way to the classrooms through the Rainbow Arch. And we're going to sing them. The song that we'll be singing is number 414 in your gray hymnal, the As We Leave This Friendly Place. But Corey.
Thank you, Nathan. Good morning. As Nathan said, my name is Corey Cortez, and I am the religious education coordinator here, and my pronouns are she and her. I'm going to invite all our youth to come up and help me out with this story. You can go ahead and sit down. If you want, you could either sit here or you can sit on the ground even if you want to see me better, okay? Or if you're good turning around like that, that's okay too. Yes?
Before we leave, I will have something to say about the
Okay. All right, so I'm going to tell everybody a story. It's a story of an old woman who lived on a beautiful farm in the country. From her window, she could see pasture land, fields of grain, barns filled with animals, orchards and forests beyond. Doesn't that sound beautiful? Yes. The farm was special to the old woman because it had been in her family for many generations. She had lived there her whole life, grew up to be a mother, and raised her family of 10. And her husband had passed away, and she too was in the last days of her life. The old woman should have been content after such a fortunate life, but she was not. She lay on her bed worrying about her grown children who could not seem to get along. She heard them quarreling day and night, even though some of them were good at farming, and some were good working with the animals, and some were good at carpentry, and others at cooking and preserving the food they grew. They each thought that their job was the most important job. And they all thought that the others didn't work as hard as they did. They were all grown up now, but they held grudges against each other from things in the past, and they were jealous of each other's good fortune. The old woman tried talking to her children about living in peace, yet they seemed to grow increasingly bitter by the day. She felt sure that they would not be able to keep the family's farm after she died because they couldn't seem to work together or appreciate each other's gifts. Then one day, as her strength waned, she had an idea. She called her children to her bedside. "I have one last favor for you," she asked. "I would like each one of you to go to the forest and find 2 sticks. Bring them here tomorrow, and I will explain." The children did just that. There's your sticks. Here. Can you each grab 2 sticks? Grab 2 sticks. There you go. "Thank you, children," the old woman said. Got 2? There you go. "Please put one of your sticks down and see if you can break the other one in half." Was that easy? Yeah, that was. Then the old woman asked the children to pass her the remaining whole sticks. Oh, the remaining whole sticks. The other one, yep. The other one that's not broken. Yep. There you go. There you go. Yeah. You can't break yours? It was tough, huh? Sometimes we need help. Here, now try.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Oh, you did it. You did it. Okay, can I see your other stick? All right. Can I see your whole stick?
Into 3 pieces.
Can I see your whole stick? There we go. All right. Let us gather the remaining sticks into a bundle, she said.
I already know what they're going to do.
You do? That's good. Oh, one stuck to me. How did that happen? Make sure, let me finish the story. Make sure that there are at least, Then the old woman passed the bundle back to her children. I'm going to start with you, okay?
Just one?
No, take them all. Take them all, okay? And she said, "Now try to break the bundle of sticks all together." You want to stand up and let everybody see? Oh, that's hard.
With your foot. How about with your foot? It is really hard. Show them the bundle.
Okay, show everybody the bundle. Okay, it is. It's hard. So you can pass that bundle around and you can let other people try.
Until somebody breaks it.
The children passed the bundle amongst them. But just like you, none of them could break the bundle of sticks.
Excuse me, let
You, my children, are like these sticks, the old man said. Woman said. We all make mistakes. If you go your separate ways quarreling and holding resentments towards one another, you will each be alone like the individual sticks. Here's the lesson. The difficulties of life will easily hurt you. But if you work together, appreciate each other's strengths, cherish what you share in common, and care for each other, you will be strong like the bundle of sticks, and nothing in life can break you. Find strength and joy in one another's company, and you will live well and accomplish much. The children took their mother's lesson to heart, letting go of past grudges. Of course there would be one. All right. Okay, thank you. But was it easy? Was it easy? It wasn't easy. But it wasn't easy. No, we can do this after in class, okay? The whole point is that it was not easy, right? And the mother knew that it wouldn't be easy. And so she used the lesson of the sticks and the bundle of the sticks to help remind her children that together they're stronger, okay? The old woman died peacefully, and the farm remained in the family for many generations. So this is a great lesson on working together and finding and appreciating each other's strengths and abilities. And we are going to get to do that in class while you all get to talk about the same kind of thing up here. So if you are in a row that has a ribbon, and you can get your ribbons out, we will walk under the rainbow bridge while we sing our hymn as we leave this friendly place. Okay, can we get sticks in here? Thanks. Thank you. Thank you.
Of the bundled sticks together. We can feel that space, all of the children's excitement, and bring that here into ourselves here in this space. I encourage you to get into a comfortable position for your body. If that means putting your feet down on the floor, or maybe for you that means keeping your legs crossed. If it means taking a deep breath, feeling where you're holding tension, maybe in your shoulders, maybe in your stomach, maybe in your hips. Where are you feeling tense? Maybe where are you feeling worried throughout your body? Let's take a moment to breathe into that and let that go. As we feel the spaces where we are connected, what does working together look like? What is moving in a group or individually? How do we feel the space between us, even when we are just sitting? We can feel the energy together and beyond. Let's take all that, those thoughts and energies here into the space and take another collective breath together. Please join me in this meditation. Spirit of life, feeling of love and interconnectedness between us all, wherever it is we feel that in our bodies or minds. Be with us as we learn to move, dance, and be together. As we take steps forward and sometimes take steps back, may we pay attention to each other's movements and respond with our hearts from love. As we learn to sway and bend, respond, and interact, let us always move out of joy, connection, and love. Blessed be. Let us join together in singing number 402, From You I Receive. We will sing it through 3 times. That is in the gray hymnal.
Receive
Our reading today is by Renee Rashadsky. It's from Charge to the Congregation from the installation of Reverend Meredith Garman at the Community Unitarian Church in White Plains, New York. You begin with your body leaning slightly forward. It's an intentional way to move in the world, really, with your body's center of gravity taking the lead and the rest of your body poised to follow. Your steps are deliberate and measured. You stay in tune with your partner so that when it is time to move in a different direction, you will be able to move together. The dance of shared ministry invites both of you to play with the edges of your comfort zones. The leader steps forward, paying attention and responding to both potential obstacles and opportunities. The follower's corresponding steps are dependent on trust in the leader. The leader attends to the body language of the follower so that the follower feels guided and not pushed. The follower learns to lean into the discomfort of not seeing the path as clearly as the leader. This dance requires both partners to communicate clearly, but in spite of even the best communication, the dancers will have missteps, entanglements, unintended pauses. Some of the steps may be familiar, even habitual. Other steps might feel awkward at first. But when you are able to step into the flow of give and take, of awareness and adjustment, the dance of ministry becomes fluid and organic. The embodied experience I just described is taken from the experience of learning how to tango. Being in a shared ministry together is a lot like a dance. There is give and take. Occasionally you step on someone else's feet or they step on yours. Even longtime partners make mistakes. What matters most is that we enjoy the process and stay in the relationship even when toes are stepped on.
talking about is our shared ministry, how we all have to work together, right? Like, I couldn't do this without them. So give them a big hand. Jamie is always on the lookout and keeping us on our toes. So I very much appreciate what Jamie and the AV people have brought to this congregation. And so when we were talking about the service, then today I wanted to talk about what does shared ministry mean? And because last spring we introduced, there was a previous group here called Coach, the Congregation on the, I can't remember the last, it was the Congregational Health. And but that organization, that group, started in reaction to an event that happened many years ago. And so when I started here last fall of 2023, then we started talking about, let's re-envision what this might look like. And so over some conversations, then we came up with calling it the Committee on Shared Ministry in the Congregation, otherwise known as COSMIC. So we are the cosmic people. And so Aaron and Kurt back there are also on this, and Marion is on it. And I think there's who's the fourth person? Helen. Helen's our newest cosmic member. So give them a hand, because they are helping us to think bigger picture, think strategic, think about what are we noticing, what kind of patterns are we seeing. And together, they are reading a book on congregational conflict and learning about themselves first. How do I respond to things? And so like that is part of the first process. How do I as an individual, and then I can start to pay attention to what else is happening. But you have to start with the learning. So there are different groups within the congregation now that are doing some work on building some learning skills and thinking about big picture things. And so these are some of the ways that we are working together. So when Diana and I started thinking about music, then one of the things that we wanted to demonstrate was about how you can have different groups of people, either through sometimes we pick the music for the words. Sometimes we pick the music for what it shows. There's like, what's this fancy word is pedagogy. It's like a method of teaching. And so with Neil and Diana doing together a duet today, then you could hear the parts where together they created something that would not have existed without the two of them working together. Neil was playing beautiful violin by themselves, and by themselves it would have been amazing just by itself. Diana by herself on the piano, amazing, but you put the two of them together and it is something bigger and more amazing than any of us could have dreamed of, right? So this was a demonstration in like the ways that we depend and lean upon each other in what is shared ministry. And so many congregations have been talking about this concept of shared ministry, but it's like this amorphous thing, because in congregational world, it's not like science. We can't just drop something in a test tube and say, okay, we've done it, because it's all about like, how do we actually create something that we all have different perspectives on? Like, what does this actually look like? And so I appreciated Reverend Renee's reading about shared ministry. And so she uses, she went to this website that's Tangoology 101 and used some of their etiquette rules. And so I thought that that would be a really great foundation for us to begin exploring what does that look like. About this time last year, it was my first year here. I'm on a 2-year contract. So we'll see in a few months what this ends up looking like. We'll continue to explore that together as part of the dance of shared ministry. How are we being together? And so through this process, this time last year, then in a service, then I used the rules of improv, and we talked about how improv, we depend on each other, and that if one of your acting partners gives you a statement, you do not respond with a no statement. That it's always a yes and, where is this? They affirm what you said, and now we move forward. So we did a lot of rules of improv last year. We kind of played with, okay, I see this, and how do we build from that? We did that a lot, and so this year I thought I would start off with, because both now and then for a few services in September, we'll be doing some kind of foundation work for this next year. So in thinking on that, then I wanted to use the metaphor of tango and dancing together and thinking about how that might actually help us together in this next year. And so towards that end, because I always think of, I need people, and the other part is that we're still in August and people might be traveling, and so I didn't want to commit people. So I waited until to see who showed up today. And so there are 9 people here who have some quotes that I gave them before the service began. And so I'm going to bring them a microphone when I say who has number whatever. They are going to read their part. I'm going to tell them, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that might apply, and maybe they might share some thoughts on that themselves. And so this is also a demonstration that for a lot of this year, a lot of our services are going to be interactive in different ways. So just wanted to, this is laying the foundation for that. You're going to see more responsiveness, more possibilities in those kinds of situations. So again, from Tangoology, and I don't know how many of you have done group dancing or anything, so some of this might be familiar to you, so we'll see. So who has number 1? George. Speak clearly into the mic.
Always try to enter the floor from an area that will not interrupt the flow of the other dancers already on the floor. It's preferable to enter from one of the 4 corners of the dance floor, not from the middle of the lane. Because of the limitations of certain venues, this is not always possible, but it should be.
Hold on to that microphone. So the ministry of a congregation is organic. So with the beginning of what George read about entering in, when I began, this congregation had been in existence since 1840, right? So I'm like this person who kind of shows up out of nowhere. And then I had to figure out, where are the lanes to enter? Where are the lanes to observe? Where are the lanes to pay attention and just notice? And then which ones do I just keep like, oh, that's interesting over there, but not get involved in? And the same thing for anybody new coming in, is they learn, how do I participate in this? And so ministry of congregation is organic and holistic. And as you make space for new ministries, new activities, it's important to always think about, how does this new thing interact with the vision that we already have? And that might also help us think, well, maybe it doesn't interact right now. Could it in the future? We don't know. But we try to pay attention to what is happening. So who has number 2? Aaron has number 2. Would you stand up?
Oh, sure. Always move counterclockwise. Thank you, Detroit.
There we go. All right.
Always move counterclockwise around the dance floor. Do not move against the line of dance. This includes not taking large back steps and not leading or your follower to step against the line of dance. Instead. Detroit. Detroit. There we go. Instead, all steps should be taken into the line of dance, towards the tables or towards the middle of the floor. Oh, thank you, buddy.
Okay, let's try that. Read through it one more time so everybody can hear it.
Thank you, Detroit. Okay. Always move counterclockwise around the dance floor. Do not move against the line of dance. This includes not taking large back steps and not leading your follower to step against the line of dance. Instead, all steps should be taken into the line of dance, towards the tables or towards the middle of the floor.
Thank you. So the most effective congregations have all of their leaders leading toward the same vision. If you come into the dance floor and all of a sudden you're going in a different direction than the dancers, what's going to happen? There will be crashes. You could be stepped on. Yeah, you'll bump into each other. So it's important that we are all going the same direction. If you're welcome to join at any time, but you have to go the same direction. That is part of being in a congregation, in a shared faith community, especially one like a UU, where we don't say everybody has to say have the exact same faith beliefs, but we do say you're welcome to be part of our community, and we're going this way. You need to make sure that you don't have a leader of ministry that is not in alignment with your goals. We all have to have these same goals. Who has number 3?
No parking. Detroit.
There we go.
No parking on the dance floor. Tango is a progressive dance, and you do not want to hold up others from progressing forward. If space opens up in front of you, use it.
No parking on the dance floor. Where else have you heard that? I bet that's in a song. I can't remember which one that it is. But if there is a ministry that you are not excited about, how many of us have been around that there's something that's going on that we're not maybe excited about, but there is energy and flow among others, please move off the dance floor and learn to enjoy watching others flourish, even when it's not your passion. So how do we support each other? We don't have to be stopping others. Don't get on the dance floor. Don't stop other people when they're moving. Now, who has number 4?
Stay in your lane. It's generally accepted that the better dancers dance in the outer lane. It is safer to dance in the outer lane because at most you only have other couples on 3 sides of you instead of on all 4 sides. Sometimes the floor might be big enough for an inner lane to develop. If you find yourself in an inner lane or in the middle of the floor, then you should stay there at least until the song ends, and then you can move back to the outer lane. One of the biggest sins of tango etiquette is moving in and out of lanes during a song.
So what does that mean? Stay in your lane. We're trying not to be like everybody stay, like we have to have both. In congregations, you have to have both clear boundaries and fluidity. That doesn't mean like if one person's on a particular committee and that's something they're interested in, that they have to stay there for the rest of their life. It just means you have to pay attention, support that organization, that group, and set clear boundaries and expectations. So you have to have clear boundaries, know what the roles are. This is one of the reasons why it's important within each committee, board group, whatever, to know this is what we are actually responsible for, and these are the things we're not. So when people come to you and go, we want you to do X, Y, Z, and you can clearly say, that is not my job, and hand it off to the people who it does belong to. And then that is part of actually having good relationship, is being able to be clear about the roles and expectations, not in a mean way, but we're all in relationship together. So that is one of the ways that we do that. So even with a shared ministry, you have to have clarity about who is ultimately responsible for the different areas of your congregation. Now, one example I like to give is, I am never going to run that soundboard, okay? So we all have different things that we bring to the work that we do, and we don't step into somebody else's area that they are clearly experts in and tell them how to do it, because like they're the ones who know how to do that. So I believe we have the next one is number 5 that Jesse has.
Do not lift your elbows. On the dance floor, having your elbows up is an aggressive way to claim your space. Some dancers believe that they should dance defensively by lifting their elbows to create more room for themselves. High elbows can hurt other dancers, particularly followers.
So again, you need to have good boundaries between ministries outlined in covenants, your bylaws, and your key policies. Poor boundaries can function as institutional landmines. Who is there, somebody near me who might know what is a landmine?
General sense?
Yeah, what is a landmine? Just what is it?
A landmine in general sense is an explosive device laid out in a field to target someone who might be passing through.
And so do they see that landmine?
Typically not.
Right.
That's the idea.
Right. So because if you don't know what you're doing, or if you haven't learned the lay of the land, you might accidentally step into a landmine that could explode all over you, and that happens in congregational settings. Whether people mean to or not, you can say something well-meaning, and all of a sudden you've set up a landmine that you didn't know was there. But you have to be able to be clear about what exactly it is that you're trying to accomplish together. Number 6. Joan McGlinty is reading this, and Joan is also part of the Daytimers, who's leading the service next week.
I think Reverend Curran has this especially for us.
And bring it to your microphone.
Do not stop dancing if you make a mistake. Mistakes happen, and a good leader should turn mistakes into opportunities to do something else.
Thank you. So the same is true of our covenants or our agreements, that just because a mistake happened doesn't mean we stop. Doesn't mean we say, well, I guess that didn't work out. We stay in relationship together. If you get tangled up, you forgive yourselves and each other, and you begin again in love. I think, again, thinking on the tango example of do not stop dancing if you made a mistake. Who has been in a group dancing situation? And so mistakes have been made, right? And so if you made a mistake, you stepped out of line or something, and then if you just stop, what does that do to the rest of the room? It can throw things off kilter because you have stopped the flow because other people are moving. So you have to figure out, okay, a mistake was made. How do I get back in it? You don't stop the entire routine. Who has number 7?
Navigational skills. Do not crowd the couple in front of you. Always try to leave them with enough room for the leader to take one decent-sized step back and to execute a basic turn. On the highway, you don't want someone riding your bumper, so don't do it to other dancers. Try to make eye contact with the leaders around you, just to let them know you are there. Often people behave better if they feel that they have a connection with you. If you see that the leader in front of you is doing something which requires space, give him that space. Don't crowd him.
So how exactly do we navigate together? What does it look like in a congregation with many different people with different wants, needs, and desires? We do not crowd the people in front of us or around us, and we try to leave space. I try to think of, there's this one mantra that I learned a long time ago when I was living in North Carolina from one of the leaders there. If I'm ever lost on what exactly are we doing, I go back to this mantra. All we teach is Unitarian Universalism. All we do, everything we do at this moment here of everybody reading different parts, all we do is faith development. The congregation is the curriculum. There are things that we can write and whatever, but how we operate, everything that we do is curriculum. And so that in itself is its own navigation. This means that how we are together is as important as anything we study or learn or read. How are we going to navigate this second year together? I don't know, but I feel like if we have some ground rules, then, because this is what tango is, like people coming in and you're like, this is how it is. I love it on this page, on this Tangoology 101 website, at the bottom of that page, then there are some frequently asked questions, and then if you read down, some of the responses are good, but one person even asked, well, I like to dance, but I don't really like to dance with a group like this. And the response was, well, you can like to dance, but if you want to dance tango, this is not for you, okay? So you're going to have to find another place. But if we work together, we pay attention and we listen. And I wonder, how will we figuratively keep eye contact with each other? On the dance floor, there's usually not a lot of talking, but there is the paying attention to what's happening. Who do I see coming towards me? What's going to happen next? We keep paying attention and we ask questions. Who has number 8?
Dance to your partner's ability. Leaders should not try to lead figures which are clearly beyond their followers' abilities. Good leaders will adjust their dance to their followers.
And who has number 9? I think that this is Barb. No. Oh, sorry.
This is conflict resolution. People will get in your way and will brush up against you and will even collide into you sometimes. Please be polite and forgiving, especially if they are newer dancers who could easily be scared away from the dance. If you do have a serious issue with someone, talk to them in private and politely. Explain your complaint with them rather than making faces or being aggressive on the dance floor. If you gently graze someone, then there is no need to apologize. But if you bump or collide with someone, then apologize after the song is over.
So I want to introduce to you this idea of ouch and oops. So this is something that we've been talking about in some of our groups, but then in other larger UU worlds where we talk about when you're in a group setting and your feelings have been hurt, something has happened, it's okay to say, ouch. What you did just there, like that bothered me, but it takes some personal skill to be able to step up and name the thing, ouch, and then the other person can say, oops, my intent wasn't to do that, but I clearly impacted you, and I apologize for the way that my action or words impacted you. So you might hear different people here say, ouch or oops, and it's not like it's a silly words that people, but it's also like taking responsibility and asserting like, this is how I'm going to acknowledge, you just stepped on my toes as I was going this way, and the other person says, I'm sorry, and you figure out how to move on. But we don't stop the dance, do we? We keep moving forward and we keep dancing in our shared ministry. Thank you all. I appreciate everybody's interaction.
We make space every Sunday for authentic and vulnerable sharing, which helps to build this congregation into a beloved community. We invite you to share what's going on in your life, to name your feelings and the people in your heart in need of prayer, good energy, best wishes, and other help. We invite you to get into your body and investigate what emotions you're experiencing, to share them as you feel called, so we can help one another hold onto our joys, our griefs, and our in-between feelings. You are welcome to come pick up a stone or stones from the table, infuse or charge it with the joy or sorrow, and place it into the singing bowl, where that energy will ripple out amongst all of us to be held by us all. Or if you'd like to come up and verbally share something important on your heart, please come up and speak directly into the microphone. Yes, and all are welcome to participate in any of these ways. We light 3 candles for the intentions that rest in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. One for the joys, one for the sorrows, and one for the strength of the gathered community that can support you and bring you peace. And as we take offering, we acknowledge the generosity and intention to support and build this welcoming community. You are now invited to participate in this blessing of giving as the ushers come amongst you to accept the gifts of the congregation. And you can also give online via the QR code on the back of the order of service. Thank you. To the work of creating beloved community within and beyond these walls, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. Now, please rise as you are willing and able to sing from the gray hymnal number 300 with heart and mind.
To make a purpose
As we take steps forward and take steps back, may we pay attention to each other's movements and respond for our hearts with love. May it be. Amen.